So halacha l'maisa, different types of karbanos ultimately again are mitzarif with one another. They combine ultimately again to form the requisite shear. So the Gemara says furthermore, kachi bedek habayis mitzarfim zeh. So bedek habayis also has the ability to be mitzarif one with the other. Fine. So also those, if you take a look at Tosfos again, Tosfos says l'chayim mishum pegel v'noser v'tamei shemachol chatzi zayis mizeh the chatzi zayis mizeh chayiv karis. Kachi bedek habayis Tosfos says mitzarfim zeh l'me'ilah v'imnana chatzi shir mizeh the chatzi shir mizeh ma. So also it's therefore the Mishnah teaches me that halacha l'maisa, when it comes to kachi mizbeach, they have the ability to mitzarif to form a kezayis of iser. Kachi bedek habayis have the ability mitzarif ultimately again and also form a unit of iser. Echad kache mizbeach ve'echad kache bedek habayis mitzarfim ze'em ze'lemila. We'll say now here is the last chiddush of the Mishnah, which is both kache mizbeach and kache bedek habayis have the ability to be mitzarif with one another, ultimately again to form a shear of Meilah. If you look at Tosfos again, Echad kache mizbeach ve'che kache bedek habayis shemnene kechatzi zayis mibasar kache mizbeach ukechatzi zayis mibasar shehukta shel bedek habayis mitzarfin. So I'll say, so this last line is the most dramatic. That ultimately again, if you have a chatzi kizayis or chatzi zayis of kache mizbeach and a chatzi zayis of kache bedek habayis, that ultimately again they combine together to form a unit of kizayis of iser. So that's so far again. So just see if all the progression. Mishnah teaches me kache bedek habayis is mitzarif, kache mizbeach are mitzarif, and lastly, ultimately, kache mizbeach and kache bedek habayis are mitzarif as well. Pretty dramatic. That last piece is pretty dramatic. Hashta. So the Gemara says, I don't understand the flow of the Mishnah. Hashta yesh lomar diktani echad kache mizbeach ve'echad kache bedek habayis. So both say, so now I don't understand something. It says the Gemara, Mishnah, if you're going to teach me that halacha l'maisa, kache mizbeach and kache bedek habayis have the ability to be mitzarif, right? If that's what you're going to tell me, that at the end of the day that actually works, then what? The high kedusha saguf. I'm supposed to suggest you appreciate this. Remember, you know this well. Kache mizbeach refers to items that have sacrificial sanctity, physical sanctity, versus kache bedek habayis, which are items that have financial sanctity, monetary sanctity. Right? So we'll say, so remember, here's the incredible idea. To be able to say that an item of kache bedek habayis combines with kache mizbeach is an incredible chiddush. Once you tell me that, the high kedushas aguf, the high kedushas damim, supposed to say, once you tell me that kedushas bedek habayis and kedushas and kache mizbeach combine to form a kezayis of iser, even though again one has kedushas aguf and one has kedushas adamim, afilu hachi katani mitzarfim zeh zeh kache mizbeach and kache mizbeach miboy. So the Gemara says the Mishnah doesn't read well. Right? Remember, how does the Mishnah, what's the progression? Mishnah tells me, kache mizbeach combined with kache mizbeach to create a unit of iser. Kache bedek habayis combined with kache bedek habayis to form a unit of iser. Oh, and kache mizbeach combined with kache bedek habayis to form a unit of iser. Well, once you say that last piece of kache mizbeach can combine with kache bedek habayis, ultimately to form a unit of iser, once you say that, even though again one has financial sanctity, one has monetary sanctity, so also see here, if kache mizbeach could combine with kache bedek habayis, then what? Then what? Certainly kache mizbeach could combine with other kache mizbeach. It's obvious. To which the Gemara says, excuse me, mishum diktani Allah l'chayiv alei mishum pigul no sarvetame. Supposed to say, see, you're right. The chiddush is by kache mizbeach, ultimately again that different forms of kache mizbeach combine together to make you chayiv for pigul no sar and tamei. So both say, so remember again, in order to transgress the prohibition of pigul consumption, no sar consumption, or tamei consumption, you have to consume a kezayis. The chiddush of the Mishnah is that I would have thought that in order to violate the din of nosar, pigel, you fill in the blank, that it has to be one kizayis from the same entity. Kamash Malon, that you could have a kizayis that's made up of multiple different karbanos. Rabbi saying now the chiddush is, remember, the concept of kachim is the concept of pigel, nosar, and tami only applies where? Only applies to kachim mizbeach and not to kachim bedekabayis. So that's the chiddush over here. The chiddush is when we say kachim mizbeach mitztarfim zeh zeh. The chiddush is not from Meilah. The chiddush is for pigel, nosar, and tami. The kachim bedekabayis lo ika. Sorry, lo ika, because remember again, there is no concept of pigel, nosar, and tamei by kachim mizbeach. By kachim bedekabayis. It is only a din by kachim mizbeach. So the Gemara says, I'm sorry. So therefore, I both say the way the Gemara reads is as follows. So here's first piece of important information. So the halacha is, the Gemara says that when it comes to Meilah purposes, so kachim mizbeach have the ability to combine with kachim bedekabayis. Dramatic halacha. Aisha says the Gemara, once you tell me that, then why do you need to tell me that kachim mizbeach is mitzaref with other kachim mizbeach? I will say for what purpose? Not for Meilah purposes, but rather for what? Pigel, nosar, tamei. Pigel, nosar, tamei only apply by kachim mizbeach, do not apply to kachim bedekabayis. And the chiddush is that even if you have a kezayis made up of nosar from multiple karbanos, or pigel from multiple karbanos, halacha l'maisa, it combines to form the shira visser. Rabbi Yanai, michavarta ein chayavim mishum meila ela al kachim bedekabayis v'ola bilvad. So we'll say, Rabbi Yanai says something quite amazing. He says it would appear to be clear to me that the concept of Meilah only applies to kachim bedekabayis and ola. Rashi says over here, actually Tosa says over here, Mechavarta kilomar davar barur u'mechover huzeh. This would appear to be a clear matter, that Meilah only applies to kachim bedekabayis and ola. What's the reason? My taima damakra nefesh kitim ol mal mekadshei Hashem. So we'll say, so the pasuk is speaking about Meilah says that if a person will commit Meilah, and he will, the Gemara is leaving out a little bit of the middle of the pasuk, the chata bishkaga mikadshei Hashem, and he will go and he will inadvertently sin with kadshei Hashem. So we'll say, so what does Rabbi Yanai do with this? So kadshim hamiyuchadin laHashem yesh bahen Meilah. It is only sanctified items that are the singular property of God that are subject to the prohibition of Meilah. So we'll say, however, aval kachim mizbeach isbuhu lekohanim ve'isbuhu lebailim. So we'll say, here's the issue: kachim mizbeach. Can you claim that they are totally kodesh laHashem? Are they miyuchad laHashem? No, because most kachim mizbeach, aside from what? Aside from olah, ultimately again have sacrificial portions that are offered up that are given to the kohanim, and other sacrificial portions that are given to the owners. So therefore, Rabbi Yanai posits that the only consecrated items that are subject to Meilah are those which are the sole property of God. What's the sole property of God? An olah and bedek habayis. Now, true, these bedek habayis items, although it's only financial sanctity, they are the pure possessions of the Beis Mikdash of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we'll say a pretty dramatic shita by Meilah. So Tanan, let's analyze this. Kachim mizbeach mitzarfim zeh zeh leMeilah. So remember again, what did we see in the Mishnah? The Mishnah said that kachim mizbeach are mitzarif one with the other for Meilah, which also clearly tells you that what? All kachim mizbeach are subject to Meilah. This contradicts what Rabbi Yanai said before. Because according to Rabbi Yanai, what is the only kachim mizbeach that is subject to Meilah? Only olah. Here the Mishnah clearly indicates to us what? All kachim mizbeach are subject to Meilah, to which the Gemara says midrabanon. The Mishnah just means that it's subject to Meilah midrabanon, not midaraisa. I Kodshe Kadoshim Sheshachtan Bedaram Molen Behen. Both we learned at the beginning of the Masechta, right? That Kodshe Kadoshim that are shechted in the south, even though they should have been shechted in the north, are still subject to Meilah. So you see that Kodshe Kadoshim are subject to Meilah, Midrabanan. Again, Midrabanan. This is all in an effort, Rabbosai, to reconcile these statements with Rabbi Yanai. Tanan, Hanana min achatos kishichaya lo mal ad sheyifko. So we'll say, remember, we learned in the Mishnah that if one goes ahead and gets hana from the chatos, when the chatos is alive, you only commit Meilah if what? If halacha l'maisa you've caused at least a pruta of depreciation. However, kishimesa, if the chatas is dead, kevan shenana kol shuhu mal. As soon as you benefit any amount, even a smaller amount, less than a pruta, you have committed Meilah. What do you see from here? You see from here that halacha l'maisa that Meilah applies to a chatas. So not just ola, but even to a chatas. To which the Gemara says midrabanan. So therefore, Rabosai, the Gemara is trying to reconcile all of these statements with Rabbi Yanai. Simon, I think that Thomas Gemara is right on here. So I'll say so the Gemara is trying to reconcile all of these statements with Rabbi Yanai. So I'll say, see, here's what you have. You have Rabbi Yanai saying that the concept of Meilah only applies to an Ola and Kodshe Kadoshim. Why? Because in order to be subject to Meilah, you must satisfy the criteria of Nefesh ki timal ma'al mekadshe Hashem. It has to be something that solely belongs to God. So, Ola solely belongs to God, totally offered on the Mizbeach. Bedek Habayis totally belongs to God. But any other sacrificial item has a portion to the Kohanim, has a portion to the owners, and therefore not subject to Meilah. What about all of these statements that seem to indicate that these other karbanos are subject to Meilah? So the Gemara is explaining it how? Midrabanan. It means it's subject to Meilah Midrabanan, not Meilah D'Oraisa. So the Gemara says, really? Umidoraisa lo, in all of these cases that you quoted before, it's not subject to Meilah D'Oraisa. Vatanya, we learned, Rebbe Omer, Kol Chelev LaHashem, L'Rabos Emure Kodshim Kalim L'Meilah. So we'll say when the pasuk says Kol Chelev LaHashem, that comes to include the limbs of Kodshim Kalim, that they are subject to Meilah, to which the Gemara again says, Midrabanan. Midrabanan. So we'll say, so this, you see already the theme over here. Every single time we have a Mishnah or a Brisa that seems to indicate that halacha l'maisa Meilah applies ultimately again to some other carbon other than just an Ola or Bedek Habayis, the Gemara's answer always is Midrabanan. V'hakra kanasivla, but we brought a pasuk, I will say beforehand, to go ahead and support the idea that a Muri Kodshim Kalim are subject to Meilah. Asmachta ba'alma. It's not a real pasuk. I mean, it's a real pasuk, but ultimately, again, it's not a real proof. Rather, again, it's an asmachta. V'ha'amar ulan Rabbi Yochanan, Kodshim shemesu yatsu midei Meilah dvar Torah. Yet, Rabbi say, remember again, we had a statement of Ula in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, who said that what? Once karbanos die, they are no longer subject to Meilah D'Oraisa, which I will say sounds like what? It's only once they die that they're not subject to Meilah D'Oraisa, but when they are alive, they're absolutely subject to Meilah D'Oraisa. To which the Gemara says, so what are you talking about over here? If you want to tell me that the Bryce statement is referring to Kachi Bedek Habayis, Afilu Kimei Tsunami. But we'll say Kachi Bedek Habayis are subject to Meilah even after they die. To which the Gemara says, Lo Yehe Ella the Akdish Ashpala Bedek Habayis. Would this be any different? We'll say that if you were Makdish a garbage dump to Bedek Habayis, Lav Ispe Meilah. We'll say, so should a carbon be any different than a garbage dump? If you went and you Makdish a garbage dump ultimately to Bedek Habayis, it would be subject to Meilah. This would not. Ella. So we'll say, so therefore again, we have to reinterpret this statement of Rabbi Yanai. Ella, Kodshe Mizbeach D'Oraisa. Ella Haki Kamar. Amri Debe Rabbi Yanai, Mehai Kra, Kodshe Bedek Habayis, Shaminan Mina, Kodshe Mizbeach, Lo Shaminan Mina. Therefore, I will say the Gemara reinterprets Rabbi Yanai's statement in a dramatic way. See, we thought Rabbi Yanai was saying as follows. We thought Rabbi Yanai was saying that based on the pasuk of Nefesh ki tim ol ma'al mekadshe Hashem, That the pasuk is teaching me what? It is only Kadshei Hashem, only something which becomes the sole property of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is subject to Meilah. What becomes the sole property of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Bedek Habayis and Ola. Bedek Habayis and Ola. And therefore, we thought Rabbi was saying, therefore nothing else is subject to Meilah. You could explain away, this is a very good musr, by the way. Sometimes when you have a shita in life, if there's one thing that contradicts your shita, okay. Two things that contradicts your shita. If a lot of things contradict your shita, chances are what? Wrong shita, right? Time to change. It's very important yesod. Sometimes if everyone else says A and you say B, chances are you're not the smart one. It's kedai to keep that in mind. So the Gemara says over here, Rabbi Yana says a shita, we bring Bryce after Bryce after Bryce after Bryce to contradict it. I could explain away 1, 2, 3. By the time we get to the 5th one, it's a little bit more difficult to explain it away. Says the Gemara, you're right. What Rabbi Yana meant to say, I will say, is as follows. Rabbi Yana said, based on the pasuk of Nefesh Kitimo Ma'al Me'Hashem, that pasuk just teaches me that Meilah applies to Ola and to Bedek Habayis. But ultimately, again, that's not the pasuk that teaches me Kadshei Mizbeach. That Kadshei Mizbeach are subject to Meilah. That's learned out from a different pasuk. Beautiful. Bosai says Mishnah Amud Beis. Here we go. Chamisha Dvarim. So Bosai, so the good news is the Meilah world is back the way we knew it, right? Rabbi Yanai shook the very core of our Meilah existence. But Baruch Hashem, Meilah equilibrium has been restored, right? Everything is subject to Meilah, everything, within limitation. But ultimately, again, different psukim teach me different items. Good. Says the Mishnah, Chamisha Dvarim Ba'olah Mitztarfim Zemzeh. Both another very interesting halacha. So now, once the previous Mishnah began the discussion regarding Tzeiruf, regarding what combines with what to form a kizayis for Meilah, for Pegel, for Nosar, Vitame. So we continue in this discussion of Tzeiruf. And says the Mishnah, Chamisha Dvarim Ba'olah Mitztarfim Zemzeh. There are 5 things, ultimately, again, within the Olah itself, that are mitztarif to form Isser, for a kizayis of Isser. What is it? Basar, Chelev, Soles, Yayin, Shemen. So we'll say, so if you're offering up an Olah, let's say your Olah, for argument's sake, your Olah becomes Nosar, or Pigel, or Tameh. To be Chayiv for Pigel, Nosar, Tameh, what do you have to do? You have to consume a Kizayis. What the Mishnah is teaching me is that Kizayis need not be made up of one part of the carbon, but the kizayis could even be a combination of a variety of different things. And what goes into what could be part of the combination? Basar, which is the flesh, the meat. Chelev, sacrificial fat. Soles, fine flour. Yayin, wine. Shemen, oil, which mostly means what? That even from the menachos that accompany an olah, ultimately, again, they could also combine to form the sheer kizayis for the Isser of Nosar, Pigel, or Tameh. An incredible Chiddush. V'shisha b'toda. And when it comes to a Toda, you have the previous 5 plus an additional 6th. Basar, Chelev, Soles, Yayin, Shemen, and Lechem. Because also, again, remember, by a carbon Toda, you have Lachmei Toda, you have accompanying loaves. Those loaves could also combine to form the Kizayis, ultimately, again, of Isser. Pretty incredible. Says the Gemara, fine. Masni la Rav Huna the Rava. So we'll say, so Rav Huna raised the following kasha to Rava. Chamisha dvarim ba'olam mitztarfim zemzeh. So we'll say, interestingly enough, he had a little bit of a different girsa. He said 5 things in the Welt, right? 5 things in the world are mitztarif, one with the other. Now look at Rashi for just a moment here. Rashi is ba'olam. Actually, before we get to Rashi, so Amar le ba'olam ka'amrit. They will say. Now remember, when Rav Huna teaches this statement to Rava, what this sounds like is like this: in the world of sacrificial law, there are only, for all karbanos, only 5 items which are mitzdarif. That's all. 5 and no more. To which the Gemara says, but one second, how can you say that? V'hakatani b'toda. Vav dvarim, but the Mishnah said, that whereas in an Ola, and maybe other karbanos as well, it's 5 items that are mitzdarif. In Toda, there's a 6th item, there's the bread. So how can you make a statement of Chamisha Dvarim Ba'olam Mitzdarfin, that there are only 5 things in the entire world of sacrificial law that are mitzdarif? To which the Gemara says, V'hakatani b'toda vav dvarim shebetoda, habasar, hachelev, hasoles, v'hayayin, v'hashemen, v'lachmei toda. Amarle tani ba'ola. We're both saying, here's why you have to be so careful with your words. Right? I didn't say ba'olam, I said what? Be'olah. Incredible, I will say, right? One little letter changes the course of entire Jewish history, right? So I'll say, so listen to this. He said, I'm not contradicting you. I said, Chamisha Dvarim Ba'olah, not Chamisha Dvarim Ba'olam. Amarei Tani Ba'olah. Tanina Lahadu Tan Rabban. So we'll say we have a brace that supports this. Ola ve'emurehen mitzdarfen lekizayis laha'alosan b'chutz. So we'll say an Ola and its sacrificial limbs can combine to form the shir of kizayis laha'alosan b'chutz u'lechayiv alei mishum pigol nosar v'tamei. So we'll say by Ola, what's the halacha? So by Ola, so the flesh, the regular flesh, the flesh that's burned in the mizbech together with sacrificial limbs are mitztari for kizayis. And both say, now remember, kizayis can manifest itself in a variety of different ways. Or I should say, the Isser kizayis for shchutei chutz, right? Offering a carbon up outside of the Beis Hamikdash. You're only chayiv if what? If you offer up at least the kizayis of the carbon outside. Similarly, when it comes to pigol, nosar, tamei consumption, only chayiv if you consume the share of the kizayis. But interesting enough, what the Gemara is picking up on over here is katani ba'ola in bishlamim lo. Therefore, here's what's interesting. The Brisa seems to indicate to me that halacha l'maisa, this is only a din by shlamim, but let's say would not apply by ola, but not by shlamim. To which the Gemara says, well, let's analyze this. Bishlam ala'alosan b'chutz. So I understand when it comes to, let's say, going ahead and offering up the carbon outside of the Beis Hamikdash, ola dekalil hi mitzdarfin. So we'll say this is actually very interesting. So I understand when it comes to an ola, Rabbi say. So I understand why halacha l'maisa, the sacrifice, the meat, the basar of the carbon, and the chelev, and the emurin, all of that combines. Why, Rabbi say? Because by ola they're all treated the same way, namely how burnt on the mizbeach. So I understand that. Shlamim lo mitzdarfin. But I will say by shlamim, I can understand why by shlamim there might be a chilik. Maybe by shlamim halacha l'maisa, the basar doesn't combine with the emurin for the simple reason that what by shlamim the emurin are offered up on the mizbeach, but the basar is not. To which the Gemara says, Ella. So I understand by shchutei chutz why there might be a difference between ola and shlamim. Ella l'chayiv alei mishum pigol v'noser v'tamei shlamim amai lo mechayiv. But when it comes to pigol, noser, and tamei, why, just like the different parts of the carbon are mitzdaref by ola, why would they not be mitzdaref by shlamim? Vatanan, we learned, kala pigulim mitzdarefim zemzeh, v'chal hanosaros mitzdarefim zemzeh. Also, we've learned something even a bigger chiddush. Both say that you could have little pieces of pigol from different carbonos. That's what? That form the shir kizayis. You could have little pieces of nosar from multiple karbanos that go ahead and form the shir kizayis. Ella ema ola ve'emureha mitzdarfin ze'em zele kizayis lizrak aleim es adam. Oh, this is actually quite fascinating. Rather, what does it mean? It means that ola and its sacrificial limbs ultimately again combine with one another in order to allow for zrika. So Rabbi said this is actually pretty incredible. The keva de mitzdarfin lizrak es adam chayiv. So Rabbi say this is actually quite an incredible idea. We're actually going to see this sugya more in depth, but the idea of it is as follows: in order to do zrika, there has to be at least a kizayis of the carbon in existence. So a very fascinating halacha. You offer a carbon, something happens to the carbon, right? And so can I still do zrika even if the carbon itself is not fully intact? To which the Gemara says, as long as there is at least a kizayis of the carbon remaining in existence, then halacha l'maisa, you could do zrika. So the same way that for the ola, ultimately again, so the different parts of the ola are mistarif to form a kizayis, so as to allow for zrika, so too ultimately again, the different parts of the ola also mitzarif, ultimately again to create liability. Uman Katani, who was the author of this? Rabbi Yeshua, the sign Rabbi Yeshua Omer, Kol Azvachim Shebetorah Shenishtaimem Kizayis Basar Ukizayis Chaylev Zorik Es Adam. Because Rabbi Yeshua holds that what? When it comes to all of the karbanos in the Torah, as long as you have a Kizayis of Basar or a Kizayis of Chaylev, I will say, this doesn't mean a Kizayis of Basar and the Kizayis of Chaylev. Rather, what does it mean? One Kizayis that is made up of any parts of the karban, whether it is basar, whether it is chaylev, zorik es hadam. Ultimately, again, I will say the idea is you need a kizayis of intact sacrificial matter in order to be able to do zrika. Even if that kizayis does not come from one defined part of the animal, or even if it's a combination of chaylev, basar, and other items, halacha l'maaseh works. Zorik es adam. However, on the flip side, kechatzi zayis basar, ukechatzi zayis chaylev, eino zorik es adam. Again, the way to read this is not that you have a half a kizayis of basar, half a kizayis of chaylev, but rather what? If all you have is a half a kizayis of sacrificial matter, then what's the halacha? You can't do zrika. Uba ola, when it comes to an ola, afilu kechatzi zayis basar, or kechatzi zayis chaylev, zorek es hadam. Rabbi say, interestingly enough, when it comes to ola, what's the halacha? When it comes to ola, even if all you have is a half a kizayis of basar or a half a kizayis of chaylev, zorek es hadam. You're allowed to do zrika basa even with a half a kizayis. Why? Mepnei shekula kalil. Because Rabbi say, since the ola itself is omade, right? Its entire essence is that it's to be fully consumed on a mizbeach. So apparently, you need less amount of extant sacrificial matter in order to allow for zrika. So even if there's only a half a kizayis left over, halacha l'maaseh the zrika can be done. Uba mincha. What about by a mincha? Afilu kula kayemes lo yizrok. So I'll say by a mincha, even if the entire mincha is intact, you still can't do zrika. To which the Gemara says, what? Mincha maya vidite. Rabbi say, what are you talking about zrika by mincha? There is no zrika by mincha, right? Zrika is one of the avodas of dam, one of the blood sac, one of the blood services. So what are you talking about zrika by dam? Tosas says, mincha maya vidite kilomar my zrika as dam shaycha hacha. To which the Gemara gives a fascinating answer. Amra papa minchas nesachim. What's the case? We'll say, look at Tosas again. Amra papa minchas nesachim perish sheyesh zevach im hamincha. But it's actually quite a fascinating case. You have a zevach, you have a karban together with a mincha. Va'avad kala zevach. And I will say, what happened? The karban itself was lost. It's actually a fascinating case. Remember, what we've just seen until now is that halacha l'maaseh, in order to be able to do zrika, what do you need? You need some of the karban intact. So it appears that in general, by regular karbanos, you need a kizayis of intact sacrificial matter. The chiddush is that what? That kizayis can be made up of what? Of what? Of anything, right? Any part of the karban. Ola, it appears that even if you only have a half a kizayis of intact sacrificial matter, you could do zrika. Now, the Gemara says something fascinating. What happens if you have a karban? You have a karban, and there was an accompanying mincha brought with that karban. Then what happened? What happened? The karban itself totally lost, slaughtered, right? But totally lost, totally destroyed. But what do you have left? You have the mincha left. So we'll say, so the shaila is having an intact mincha enough of sacrificial intactness so as to allow for zrika. So now look at Tosas. Amra papa minchas nasachim perish sheyesh zevachim hamincha. You brought the mincha with the karban, va'avid kala zevach, and you lost the karban, right? Or the karban was destroyed, whatever it is. V'sa'anayt chamina, t'chivan da mincha kayemes, harihi tachas habasar, o tachas heimor. So say, I might have thought that halacha l'maaseh, as long as the mincha is intact, that's considered to be a piece of intact karban, so as to allow for zrika. Kamash Shmalan, the Gemara says, I'm sorry. Amra Pinchas Minchas Nesachim. Therefore, also the Gemara teaches me that no halacha l'maisa, even if you have intact mincha is not enough to allow for the offering of the carbon itself. Halacha l'maisa, if the carbon is not in existence and all that's left over is the mincha, you cannot do zrika. All right, so we'll have to stop over here for today. We'll pick up in Yirtzeh Hashem at this Mishnah tomorrow. Shkoyach and a Gemara Chasimah Tova.